I don't know what we did to deserve this, but we have yet another webcomic chapter coming out. I think it's been 3 chapters within 10 days. One is running on all cylinders right now, and he is putting out banger after banger of a chapter. And honestly, the last 2 were very good, but I can genuinely say that this one is by far the best of the 3 that have come out so far. Most importantly, because we get the reveal of the Mad Cyborg. Like, we actually get to see him. No clickbait, we get to see the Mad Cyborg and get to see Genos confront both the Mad Cyborg and Dr. Kuseno, but I don't want to spoil too much. Let's get right into the chapter. So if you guys remember from the previous one, Child Emperor and Dr. Bufoy were trying to reach Saitama through Axel to try to get a message to him, and we're learning what this message is at the beginning of this chapter. You see him talking on the phone saying Dr. Kuseno is the cause of all of this. And then Saitama funnily says, "I see, that bastard. No wonder he had such an inhuman hairstyle." And he confirms with Bufoy and Child Emperor that they're 100% sure that Genos, after he fled the base, went straight to Dr. Kuseno's base. So Bufoy offers to take him there through high-speed helicopter, but Saitama's like, nah, that's too slow, I'll just run. So at this point, Bufoy knows exactly how broken Saitama is, so he doesn't even argue with him. He's like, okay, I see. Well, let me make some preparations before you do that. And here we learn the full extent as to how much control Bufoy has over like the city and the various cities he's helped reconstruct from monster attacks, because apparently he has surveillance systems in every single home. This, of course, makes Child Emperor freak out because he's like, dude, that's like a massive invasion of privacy and of human rights overall. But of course, Dr. Bufoy is a very pragmatic guy. He doesn't see it that way. It's not like he does like any peeping Tom stuff on every civilian. And apparently through its implementation, the arrest from robberies and all this type of like larceny crime has risen to 98%. But Child Emperor is not having it. He's like freaking out at him, saying like, dude, this is like a serious invasion of human rights, and like just going at him with all these different things. And it's kind of funny interactions that him and Bufoy are having right now. It's like more comical in this like super serious moment, because he says, yes, I got it. I understood. That's right. That way of thinking is correct, isn't it? You're so right. I understood. I got it. It's pretty much just brushing him off. He's like, yeah, sure. Okay, bro. So anyway, through his like AI systems, whether they're good or bad, you can make that call yourself, he was able to evacuate the area that's pretty much along the path that Saitama is going to be running, the most optimal and quickest way to get to Kuseno's lair. And Child Emperor is wondering like why he's even doing all this, like all these precautions in the first place. And Dr. Bufoy, he knows now. He's like, you don't get it. From now on, Saitama will run. This is so nobody gets caught up in it. Let's also issue an evacuation advisory within a 30-kilometer radius around Kuseno's base. So he knows how strong Saitama is. He knows that him just like running at top speed would like destroy everything around it. And he knows that whatever fight is going to happen at Dr. Kuseno's lair can cause large-scale destruction. So he's taking some pretty heavy and I would say necessary precautions to prevent any casualties. And this is when we get some classic one like character growth and shining moments from the Hero Names Victims Association. I always, still really like these characters, but even now more so with this chapter, because it really showed that like they really grew some stones after meeting and encountering Saitama. Wherever Saitama goes, he just makes people better versions of themselves. And we also get a very exciting development here, because Saitama actually gets a level up. He gets to be the highest ranked hero in the A class, and we're about to see why in a second. One of their like stooges, the Hero Association stooges, executives, whatever, says, first is some good news. It's about your hero rank. You've been promoted to A class rank 1. But then they learn the real reason why they're doing this right now, and also like they're just kind of trying to butter him up, to warm him up, to pretty much tell him like you have to stay here and defend all like wealthy people that are locked up in this like fortress at the Hero Association base. You have to pretty much stay here and defend everything. They're telling him, they pretty much say that it's like mandatory duty they has to do for at least 72 hours. And then Saitama's like, okay, well, if that's so, then I quit. Which it's kind of crazy, because it's just funny, like from where everything started. Saitama started off as a bottom C-class hero, and he wanted to work his way up so he didn't have to have any quotas. And of course, we know how strong he is, so we know he's deserving of S rank 1 easily. So now that he's finally at A class rank 1, and if you get to the top of any class, you're automatically eligible to move up to the, let's say, the next level up, so that he would be going to the S class. He can finally be an S class hero, and he's like, nah, screw that, I quit. Like, I have other stuff to deal with. And they, of course say like, oh, well, you can get sued. This can have some serious legal ramifications, yada, yada, yada. But that's when his boys, the Hero Names Victims Association, swoop in and get his back, because one of them says, "Shut up, the only ones allowed to call Caped Baldy by his hero name is us." And some others say, "Don't look down on us, you bureaucrats, you think you can threaten us." And the one with glasses, I think it was like something Pervert, I think Pervert is in his name, I forgot what his name was, but he says, "We're already preparing to file for defamation and emotional damages." And of course, just an awesome panel of them here. I know my face is kind of covering it all, but you can kind of get a good idea. They say he's going to save his friend. Is there any rule more important than that? We're going to let Cape Baldy go. And on top of that, they even say, like hell, we're going to make him follow the Hero Association's shitty rules, but we're thankful to Cape Baldy. To thank him, our true hero spirit has been shaken awake as well. And they even offer to defend the Hero Association base with their very lives. So again, just like some more character development. Before they were just like purely comical, super like cowardly characters, but like now, like, you know, being around Saitama, kind of consuming some of his aura, I guess you could say, it kind of rubbed off on them, and now they're more like stand-up heroes. And it's just always great to see, you know what I mean? Everywhere Saitama goes, he kind of just like improves people, which is kind of nice. And I don't know, it almost seems like, I think this is supposed to be kind of like a hopeful panel, but to me it's like almost like ominous, because you see like the broken body of Zero, like the body that Saitama destroyed, you know, aka Drive Knight, and they say, "Leave the rest to us, the Hero Named Victims Association," which I think is really cool. But I don't know, man. Something about seeing this crater and just seeing his like cyborg corpse is, I don't know. Or I guess he's not a cyborg; he's just a robot. But rest in peace, my guy, man. But then we cut over to Genos, who is like high speed heading to Dr. Kuseno's lair. And as he's traveling there, he's thinking to himself that something's off. He feels like he's not in full control of himself either right now. He's even wondering where he's heading. Like he's full of rage, kind of like some blind rage. But at the same time, it does seem like he is being controlled, likely by Dr. Kuseno. And, you know, for those reasons, or I guess for the reason why he's doing that, I have some theories that I'll talk about at the end of the video. But for now, let's just kind of continue with what's going on. So he travels all the way to Dr. Kuseno's lair and enters this like gigantic empty white chamber. It almost reminds me of Dr. Genos' chamber where Saitama fought Carnage Kabuto. So in this large white room, we finally see Kuseno's face again, who of course is not dead. He said, "I've been waiting for you, Genos." And on top of that, we see a robot in the bottom corner right here. And this robot is a very important one. Or I guess he's technically a cyborg android. I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, it says, "Dr. Kuseno, please explain." And here, I need to make my camera smaller for this one because you guys really need to see this guy. So this is where we get like the massive reveal. Like, do you remember this figure? The killer who took everything from you when you were still a boy of flesh and blood. A nostalgic reunion with the Mad Cyborg. So this is apparently the Mad Cyborg. Finally the one that we've been waiting for however many years now. And he continues talking about that day, and he says, "That day I took heavy damage from Blast's attack, but he failed to destroy this brain. Since then, I've been enhancing and improving this body and have now evolved into an entity boasting performance beyond S-Class. But you see, no matter how superior a being is, the impact a single entity can have on the entire world is, at most, in the single digits of a percentage. Even if you pour all of your resources into destruction, that's all you'd amount to. What I arrived at was digitization, where computational power increases and never declines, and the concept of multi-brain proliferation through copied personalities." Pretty much saying, like, it seems like his consciousness is spread across many brains, like many mechanical or like digital brains. He's almost like kind of like a father type entity almost, or he wants to be. And what's really kind of interesting is we also kind of get like a little flashback shot of what Kuseno looked like back in the day, which silly haircut even when he was young, and also Dr. Bufoy. So he kind of explains like how he obtained Bufoy's technology, because so he continues to say, "While my old classmate Bufoy was making a name for himself in weapons development and all these other things, I sensed the digitization technology was being established, and I approached him. And while that fool was dragging his feet over meaningless ethics and common sense, I stole the data and got right to work on it." So it seems like Kuseno just has never had really any morals. Like, but we think that Bufoy is the evil guy, but it's really Kuseno, which is kind of interesting how the script has flipped so much from like the early days of One Punch Man, where Kuseno was like the lovable, heartfelt scientist that helped save Genos' life, while Bufoy was like the very cold-hearted person that we hardly ever saw. So this interaction is a little interesting. So I do want to kind of go through this one specifically. He says, or Genos says, "What are you saying? We are Dr. Kuseno, a scientist of justice, and Genos, a cyborg carrying out acts of justice. That is how it should be." And Kuseno / the Mad Cyborg responds by saying, "Cyborg of justice, do you want to try that out now, right here with borrowed power? Still as stupid as ever. How hilarious. Go ahead and play hero. So Genos says, are you alive, Dr. Kuseno? And the mad cyborg / Kuseno says, you're slow on the uptake. I'm telling you, the true identity of the mad cyborg is me, and the corpse of mine you saw was an android with a copied brain. Hurry up and accept it already. This is where I think, like, where the kind of the theory that I have at the end of this chapter, or at the end of the, video or whatever, why I believe it is because here Genos falls to his knees. I'm assuming from, like, this is a lot for him, you know what I mean? And Dr. Kuseno says, what's this? You're a cyborg and your knees are weak. And even though you've got one last job to do, like, what's his one last job? I'll talk about that in a minute, at least what I think it is. And he continues to say, what do you think I carried out all those mass destruction terrorism attacks for? Thanks to all that, the combat data has been gathered. The robot army outside and the machine god series are nothing but bonuses. The ultimate machine god I've been after is about to be born. Be its opponent for the field test. Machine god heart gear. I've set its personality to something nice. It will begin operating with human extinction as its guiding principle. So this is apparently the strongest machine god he has created to date, and it's pretty much going to just destroy humanity as soon as it leaves its walls. And he continues to say, if left unchecked, a tragedy worse than anything before will occur, so fight. If you want to protect all those lives, then fight. I believe in the strength of your justice, Genos. Like, he's kind of like making fun of him here a little bit. But again, I feel like he's alluding to something more beyond this point. So we'll again put a pin in that and we'll talk about it in a second. And this is where things, like, it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Just the fact that, like, all this could just straight up not be real. Like, Genos' whole backstory, because he says, what about my family, my memories? How much of it was a lie? What was the original me? And then, like, this is like a cold-hearted response, because Kuseno says, who knows? No idea. My memory capacity is unlimited, but I delete information I don't care about. Sorry, Genos. So then Genos comes face to face with the final machine god robot, machine god heart gear, and Genos says, Kuseno, you were not the person I thought I knew. Was your purpose for me also just to collect combat data? I'll make you regret that. I won't let everything go according to your calculations. I'll eliminate you here and put an end to this. And then he responds by saying, yes, that's it, Genos. That's the spirit. So we don't get to that fight in this chapter, but then we cut away to what's going on in the other cities. We see, like, damaged buildings, injured heroes. We get to actually see Wasdog Man for a second. Like, he seems perfectly fine. And then people evacuated. Again, more heroes. We also see Sonic, and he says that it seems very quiet, like almost eerily so. But then we cut back to Saitama, who's getting the coordinates to go, like, in the exact direction that's the quickest route to Dr. Kuseno's lair. So then Axel offers to guide him there in case he kind of goes off course, but Saitama's like, nah, man, you'll just slow me down. I'm going to go ahead without you. And he just goes straight into it. Like, you just see, like, in an instant, he's already, it looks like a mile away from the Hero Association base. So, again, very awesome chapter, very cool. Finally, we get the reveal of the Mad Cyborg. It was Dr. Kuseno the entire time in this, like, digital brain that he's created. And again, this is kind of going back to what I wanted to talk about, like, my whole theory behind, like, what Kuseno's plan with Genos is here. Like, the reason why it seems like he was, like, forcing Genos to head over there and said things like he has, like, one final job, which you would think is to field test the last Machine God series, and why he says, like, oh, I believe in your justice, or, just pretty much, like, having these, like, weird little comments towards him is, I genuinely don't think that the Heart Gear Machine God is the final robot that he's going to use to destroy humanity. I honestly think that it's Genos. I think the final upgrades that he gave Genos, he needs to, like, push him far enough or something to get him to unlock his full potential, which is even greater than what the Heart Gear is capable of. And maybe this goes back to, like, him analyzing humans and what makes humans tick through, like, the robot Fuzzy and all this different data that he's collected. I think he's kind of learning that the key to, like, ultimate strength and, like, the strongest cyborg he can possibly create is kind of taking control of some of that, like, variance and errors and calculations that keep, like, thwarting his plans or, like, messing up, his super powerful AI's calculations. I think he's learning to, like, use that to the advantage of his goals. So that's why Genos, like, of course he has super advanced technology, much like Heart Gear, but he also has, like, human emotions, which is going to be the key to make him even stronger, right? So I really do think that Genos is going to be, like, his ultimate creation, his ultimate weapon. And Saitama's going to come in and do what Saitama does and, like, do some, like, super simplified talk no jutsu that, like, makes Genos realize the error of his ways or kind of come back to his senses. I'm not really sure. I'm very excited what's going to happen in this altercation, though. I do feel like next chapter, who knows when it might be in a few days. Subscribe so you can get an update on as soon as they come out. But like by the time the next one comes out, I do think we're going to finally start to get like the actual confrontation here. And like, I'm hoping we don't cut away from this stuff to something else, which I guess I wouldn't really mind because there's a lot of like really interesting and fun stuff going on all over the place right now. It really does seem like we're getting like towards the end of the series. Like this is kind of like the penultimate arc. You know what I mean? Like after this, we're going to, probably get into the God stuff and then that's going to be it. However long that takes, I don't know. But let me know what you guys thought about this amazing chapter in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Again, subscribe for updates on future chapters when they come out. I'll definitely be covering them once they do. That's going to be it for this one, though. Have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.